board.
You guys aren't actually in the video, so you don't have to like sit up straight or like suck your stomachs in or anything. Hey everybody, welcome. We are just going to do a little bit of Q&A for the Tribal Life Transformation. So we just have a couple of the people that are participating that are here, but then some people have given us some questions online. It'll be a great opportunity to have some discussion because a lot of this information is new to the people that are here. Some of you guys have played around with some of this information before, so you feel a lot more comfortable with it and you're looking more for the accountability or to get something more out of this. Maybe to take it to the next level or whatever you're doing. But if you're first entering into this kind of thinking or into the Tribal Life Transformation, I know it can be overwhelming. And so it's great to always have new people joining in because they refresh those questions, and it also gives me a chance to re-answer those questions because as we know more, we do better, and that information changes a lot. If you did the first Tribal Life Transformation, you can see that there's a little bit different focus this time from back then, and that was, I don't know, 2.5 years ago or something like that. So that's good stuff. I'm going to address first one of the questions that we got in the Facebook group, and that was whether taking your supplements at night or drinking tea at night breaks your fast. So the first thing I want to say about fasting is we're not trying to torture ourselves, right? It's not, the purpose of the fast is not to see if we can be disciplined, right? That might have been why like monks fasted in the past, or why some sort of a yoga person did some, or a religious ritual or something like that. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is to understand the natural rhythms of the human body and then try to sort of mimic those rhythms that have been present for millions of years, and we're trying to mimic that in a modern society. So this wouldn't have even been a problem just 65 or 70 years ago, right? But now, you can't go to the hardware store without food being there. There's I literally can't think of a single place you can go where there's not food. Yeah, here at Haka, there's actually no food here, but that's by design. Because if it was here, I would eat it all day, right? And so I purposely don't have food here just for that reason. So we have a modern problem with an age-old body. And so the purpose of our fasting is to mimic that. So we can all kind of picture that that historical tribal situation where you wake up and you're like, well, damn, I gotta find food. I'm a little bit hungry. Hunger signal doesn't mean you need to eat then. Hunger signal is your motivation to go find food. So beyond that first hunger signal, you're still good for hours. That's your first indication. I can't mess around. I need to be motivated to get up and do something. So for us, that might look like hunger signal, wake up, clean house, wake up, go for a walk, wake up, whatever that looks like, and then feed the body afterward. And so we're just trying to reestablish that. So that was a long way of getting around to my answer to the question. And the answer to the question is no. Supplements don't break your fast. If taking them at night works best for you, do that. Neither does hot tea. I even don't even care if there's a little bit of honey in the tea or something like that, because we're not being rigid about it. The purpose isn't to see how rigid we can be with ourselves. We've already discussed the purpose of it, right? So when I wake up in the morning, even if it hasn't been 12 hours yet, and not every day, but if I need a cup of coffee, I need a cup of coffee, and I'm going to put a little bit of cream in that coffee, and I'm probably going to sprinkle a little sugar in it. I still consider myself fasting, right? Because that was what I needed to continue on a right path to make this doable for me. I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I got 2 little babies. I'm not trying to kill myself. I'm just trying to make it work. So now other times, it's like being aware too, right? Other times I'm reaching for the coffee just because it's habit, not because I really need it, or I'm waking up and grabbing a snack just because it's there. Well, in reality, if I stop and say wait, you're grabbing something, are you hungry? Would you be fine to do this after you get in your run or after you do your workout? If the answer is yes, then that's a discipline problem. It's available, therefore I'm doing it. So it's always the intention that we're trying to think about. Okay, so that was one question. Take your supplements when they work for you. Supplements generally don't have to be taken with food. Medications are different, and sometimes if you're taking a medication, you might have to rethink how you do things. And we can talk about those individual situations. That's fine. All right. Other questions? Talk to me.
What is the time for the fasting? Like, what's that like?
What's the timing for the fasting? Okay, so that doesn't really matter. What matters is that it's there. Okay, so for me, I wake up between 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning. So if I ate dinner like a typical, I think most people probably eat dinner at like 7, say. Well, if I eat dinner at 7 and then I wake up at 3:30 or 4, and then I'm going to go to the gym, I always do my workout at 5, and then I'm trying just to make it to 7. I go 2 hours after a workout before I can put anything in my body, right? So that doesn't work for me. So like at our house, because of the time I wake up, we eat dinner between 4:30 and 5. We eat a real early dinner, and then that also allows me to go outside and be active after dinner, so that when I go to bed, I don't feel full. I feel just kind of neutral, not hungry, not full. When we eat, we eat. So for each person, it's going to be a little bit different. Like when's it reasonable for you to eat dinner?
It's on like different times, so we don't eat dinner until like 8 o'clock sometimes.
Okay, do you always eat dinner together? Like that's kind of like your thing.
Yeah.
So in that situation, and then what time do you get up in the morning?
Like 5.
Like 5? But do you exercise in the morning first thing? You plan to. All right, no, that's okay, that's good. So let's talk about that scenario, because that's going to be the more difficult scenario. If you're not waking up and working out, it doesn't really matter. Technically, you don't need anything. Your body is fine. Even if you are working out, technically you don't need anything. You'll just feel a lot more like you need something. And to get the most benefit from your workout, assuming you're doing like a strength workout, you need to fuel after. So what I would say, like let's say you ate dinner at 8 o'clock. I would probably try very hard to not make that a big meal, to make that a pretty small meal, even if that means that you need to eat a substantial, like a pre-meal at like 5 or something, and then in that evening meal, I would stick to just like protein and vegetable or something that's not going to spike your blood sugar too much. So then, from 8 to 5, you're looking at 9 hours. So you wake up, you can easily go do whatever workout you're going to do without fueling anything, just some hot water, hot lemon water. Come home, and then I would just push it as close to 8 as you can. I would put a long fast on days you don't work out. So on days you work out, your fast might be like exactly 12 hours, maybe even 11 and a half hours. And that's okay, because it's important to feed that workout afterward. But you're not going to work out 7 days a week. So for you might need to adjust which days are your long fasting days. I wouldn't put a long fasting day on the day you're going to wake up and work out. It just doesn't make sense. You're going to make it so much harder than it has to be. Does that make sense? So even though the plan says to do it on certain days, you look at your schedule and you say like, okay, well, which days am I actually going to work out? And then, okay, I'm going to do these long fasting days. I would say to kind of kickstart the whole thing, I would try to do like at least 2, maybe 3 long fasting days in a row. So that might mean starting out, you have 3 non-workout days. In the big scheme of life, 3 days in a row of not working out is not a big deal. You have a greater purpose. So does that make sense? Okay, that answers that question. I think you also had some questions about like meal prep. Will you expound on what those questions are so I can answer them more fully?
Yeah, well, it's mostly just steps from anxiety, overeating, old food that has been in the refrigerator for too long because I worry about it. So I'm like, if I make something on Sunday, how long is it going to last in a week? Because then once Wednesday comes and I don't have any more food, then that's when we go to fast options that are not so good for you. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's not enough time to prep more food.
Right. So one of the things you might think about with something like that, there'd be a couple ways you could do it. Let's say you're gonna prep some ground beef, for example. We get a lot of ground beef, and on Sunday, let's say you're gonna make some sort of spaghetti squash spaghetti. Okay, so you make a big pile of spaghetti sauce type thing that has meat in it. Then you would take some of that ground beef that you're not using for that, And I would probably put that in little balls or little patties that are already seasoned and ready to go. Put them on parchment paper, freeze them, and then as soon as they're frozen, put them in a Ziploc bag. So they're not actually cooked yet. They're frozen, but because they're small quantities, they freeze, like the little balls freeze, or defrost in just, 20, 30 minutes or overnight in the refrigerator, but you're still keeping like some freshness. And then I know a lot of people have, like, I don't do leftovers. So instead, prep the meat, right? That's one less thing after you. You don't have to get your hands dirty again. You don't have to mix in seasonings again. You don't have to make the patties again. You're still saving yourself by doing that. So when you make spaghetti sauce, just have a lot of ground beef or whatever ground beef you're using, and half of it's going in spaghetti sauce, and then while that's simmering, okay, the rest of it I'm going to put in patties, little balls, put it in the freezer, and then it'll be ready for Thursday. So that now all you have to do is grill some hamburgers or toss some, burger balls into the oven or something like that. So that's one example. Another example might be you're going to grill some chicken. So on the night when you're already, like, opening the package of meat is the worst part, right? Like, because you have to touch it. So I don't want to touch meat more than I have to. So we're going to grill some chicken breasts or thighs or whatever tonight, season those up. While they're grilling, you're already dirty. Take the other, slice it thin, maybe put a little bit of olive oil, some seasonings, some salt and pepper, some herbs. Put it in a Ziploc bag, pull all the air out, wrap it up, stick it in the freezer. You can stick it in the freezer in the marinade, it's fine. So now on Wednesday, those little pieces of chicken fall out faster, it's already marinated, whatever. So you prep, maybe you just put like one less step of prep, and then you have like all that grilled chicken that you were making at the same time. So when I'm prepping on the weekend, I'm trying to think of like, okay, whatever meat I'm prepping, what's one other way I can use this meat? And then I can prep half of it this way and half of it that way, and then that takes care of 2 meals right there. So maybe that kind of helps a little bit. And then for vegetables, most vegetables I think are best if they're cooked like at the time of. Maybe an exception to that is like you bake 4 sweet potatoes because you can just kind of reheat those. But cutting the vegetables up is during the week. Like you're trying to do so many things and you have to go to the next step of cleaning and cutting up a vegetable.
Do you ever freeze the vegetables?
You can, yeah, you can totally freeze them, but you don't need to if you're going to use them that week. You really don't. If you're prepping on Saturday or Sunday, and I always think in terms of I just want to be prepared through Thursday. On Friday, hell, you can grill a piece of meat and make a salad in 2 seconds. So that's kind of generally Friday. It's I try to be creative on the other days. And Friday just feels like you're supposed to grill or something like that. And then Saturday you have a lot more time on your hands. Or Friday maybe you go out to dinner. But sort of. So that kind of help a little bit.
Yes.
So everything doesn't have to be cooked. I just and there's a million ways to prep. Just at least get the seasoning into it. So, what questions do you have?
I have questions back to fasting. How do you make it so it's not like you've been eating, or is it?
Right, so you want to be in control when you are eating.
Yeah.
So you don't want to come into your thing like ravenous, shoving food in your face, eating everything in sight.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a good question. And the most important thing in that, the most important thing in the entire thing of making it work is to watch blood sugar, right? So when you are eating, you're not, pounding your face full of carbohydrates, right? You're starting with something. You always want to have fat, you always want to have protein, and then some vegetables, and then the carbohydrate is like a condiment kind of type thing. And when you're doing that, first of all, you have to make sure you eat enough fat. People mess up all the time because they're so afraid of eating that fat, and that fat is what satisfies you, it keeps you full. It takes longer to digest in your stomach, and so it stays there longer, and so when that happens, it also prevents your blood sugar from spiking, and so when that happens, then if you don't go up, you don't have to come down as far. So you're you know, your blood sugar's going to rise after you eat, but if it goes up here, God, that's a big crash, right? If it just goes here, you can ride that, and then the coming down is a little more of just a warning, like, hey, hello, hi. And you start thinking about, you know, going out to collect berries or whatever, you know. It's like a little more gentle. It's a nudge to do something about it, rather than, like, if you feel hangry, you messed up blood sugar-wise somewhere else. Hangry is not something that should ever feel that way. You should be like, God, I'm hungry, but it should never be like shaking and like you. I mean, you've been there like that. You get that like a little bit of like an anxiety type feeling, and if that's happening, what you're doing for your blood sugar, even if you're doing the exact same thing as someone else, for you, it's not working, right? We all have a different need as far as like carbohydrate consumption. Everybody's need is very different, and some of that is genetic, and like where your lineage comes from. Some of it is activity. Some of it is, you know, muscle mass versus fat mass. You know, there's a lot of different factors. Like some of it is how stressed out you are, because when you have that cortisol flowing through your system, it's burning through your glycogen stores, right? So just to touch on that, we'll touch on that more in another section, but so when the cortisol is released, or adrenaline, or however you want to think of it, right, when that's released, so think about that when that would typically be released, like a saber-toothed tiger, like everybody's heard that, like a saber-toothed tiger is chasing you. Well, when that's released, it makes evolutionary sense that your body would say, like, all stored sugar, release into the body so the muscles can function as fast and long as possible. We're about to die, right? You want glycogen to release. That doesn't help us now, because now when we're stressed out over an email sitting on our butts, the glycogen is being released. So then your blood sugar spikes. Stress makes your blood sugar spike. Anytime your blood sugar spikes, it has to come down. When it comes down, you feel hangry, right? Or you crave a carbohydrate because you have to get it back up again. So mitigating the stress in your life, and that's not always possible. And there is, I should say, you know, like there are people in situations where it makes the most sense to eat every 3 hours for a period of time while you are getting through a stressful situation. My mother is very sick. She's in the hospital. I'm going between work, home, hospital. That's a whole other ballgame. You don't need to care about fasting or anything. You need to care about surviving, right? And that means small meals fueling you through the day. But what we have is a lot of people that are stressed out about what color curtains they're going to hang in their living room and paint their house. You know, like that's not a big problem. You're making it a big problem. You know, you're stressed out about an email you got at 8 o'clock p.m. when really that person has no business even emailing you at 8 o'clock p.m. You just don't have the boundary set. You know, so like just a real mismatch. But yeah, so if you're getting hangry, I kind of went off on a tangent. But if I have lots of tangents. If you're getting hangry or you're feeling that shaky feeling, honor that for now. Don't sit there and be like, it's not that hour yet. You know, don't sit there and like shake. Think for a second. Try a little bone broth, because it does have a little bit of calories in it. It could be just enough to get you over the hump. But if you still don't feel good, just eat something and know you messed up, right? Okay, so next time I need to say, like, okay, at my last meal, what did I eat? Was that too many carbohydrates for me, or too many of the wrong kind? You know, it's all, and nobody has the answers to that, right? We don't have even a system for testing that. It's all anecdotal. Try, mess up, figure it out, try again, mess up, figure it out. It's, you know, it's unfortunately the only real answer to figuring out what works for you.
And what are good forms of like fat foods that you should start introducing?
So like fatty foods, right? So like when I'm gonna eat, right? So like I'm always thinking about the first thing I always think about is like what's my protein and what's my fat before I even think about anything else I'm eating. You know, where's that coming from? And that might be like, okay, well I have some chicken in the refrigerator and I have some guacamole, so that's where I'm starting from. Now what do I want to do with that? Do I want to make a lettuce wrap and have some like peppers and onions? Do I want to, you know? So some good fats would be like avocado. I don't tend to have just one fat. I have like sprinklings of multiple fats. So like if I have a salad, I'm not even going to bother with a salad that doesn't have at least a nut or a seed on it. olives or olive oil, some sort of, for me, cheese, because I like cheese a lot, avocado. If it doesn't have all that on it, it's a waste of my chewing, because it's not going to do anything for me from a satisfaction. Like, you're never going to catch me eating like salad with cucumbers, carrots, and tomato. I don't even know, that's a waste of time. Doesn't, it's got to have stuff on it. It's got to be yummy. If it's not yummy, I'm not eating it. So,
Like, I tried the whole fasting thing, and then I got to work because I prepped my breakfast at home, and I got to work, and it was like 9 o'clock, and I was like, I'm not hungry yet, but I feel like I should eat. And that's the only reason why, because it was like, I don't want to get to that point where I'm going to start getting hangry, and I don't know if it was just like a mind thing that I just...
some of it's going to be, you're going to have to play with it, right? Because we're so programmed that this is like meal time. And really a lot of this, a lot of like how true all of that is, didn't really strike me until I had kids, right? And then you're watching, they have no social norms, right? They don't care what dinner time is.
Mhm.
They're not hungry, they're not going to sit at a table and eat. They're just not going to do it. And so then you like really start to realize how much of that is a social constraint, like, oh, well, it's dinner time, or well, it's lunchtime, and it's built into work too, right?
That's what sucks.
Noon
It's
is
like,
your
yeah,
lunchtime.
12 is lunchtime. I'm like, well, if I don't eat now and then I eat like at 10, then 12 comes around. Like, I have to, it's like the time that I have to eat again, or just take a break during work and be like, I'm not going to eat.
So then you have to start to reinvent in your mind, like, okay, number one, what is a meal? And then, when should I eat? Because when I should eat really should be when I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And so many of us, I can't tell you how many clients when they come in and I sit down and I start talking to them about food, and you'll be like, well, when was the last time you were hungry? And they don't even understand the question. They're like, what? Like you actually felt hunger pains and still didn't eat right then. Like, you got to a true level of hunger. Because that's the normal human state. That's the normal state of all animals all around the world, except our now obese cats and dogs. Because we do the same thing with them.
So is it good to get to that point where you start feeling like
You should feel, so yeah, you should feel hungry. Like, that's a lie that's been told to you that you should, the normal, if being hungry was such a big deal that we've tried to tell people that it is, like, you can go on this diet and never feel hungry. But if you never feel hungry, your body's not working. That was a life-saving mechanism that you're like doling out of there somewhere, right? And the human species has not only been here, it's thrived for billions of years on this system, right? That we're now like not utilizing properly, and because of that, our bodies aren't operating properly, right? It's very, very intricate, I guess is the word. It's unbelievable. The hunger signal releases a hormone that creates a motivation that, it goes all the way to like a mental health, like a motivation level that like we don't even have anymore, right? Because you don't have to be motivated to go get food, right? It's right there. And it's pervasive in all parts of your body and how it operates. It has to do with like how the muscles heal and form, and it has to do with how your body chooses between whether to burn fat or glycogen, and all those things. It's a perfect system in a broken world, right? So, what else? Questions?
my issue is trying to get out. I'm good at not having that much sugar, but it sucks at work when there's always these treats.
Yeah.
And
That's part of the Becca bubble.
yeah. Is it okay to have a little bit of treats sometimes, or?
I don't think there's anything wrong with treats, right? Like, it's very difficult for me. I always am telling people, when I step outside of the bubble of Hakka, I'm just floored at what I see. Like somebody like picking up a 3-year-old to have them point to which Slurpee they want because they can't even say the word type thing, right? I live in this bubble, so I don't have treats around me, but I know that's like a real part of things. What I would say about treats I'll give you the harsh answer and then we'll think about like the realistic answer. So I mean, like the harsh answer is that treat indicates that it's something you have waited for. You know, like it is a treat you've waited for, you've held out, and then it's amazing when you actually have it. And I'm not sure how much of the treats that we put in our mouth are amazing when we actually have them. They're sweet, or they're chocolatey, but are they amazing? I don't know. To me, that indicates a treat when you've like really waited for that thing. And you know, like even for me, something like I'm gonna use this example, and Adriana's gonna kill me, but I can see the coffee truck right now. So like a cheese bread. I love them. They are a treat for me. I probably have one of them twice a month. Okay? I have the capability to have it a lot more than that, but I only have it twice a month. If I go to the truck and they're not fresh out of the oven, I'm not wasting it's not a treat then. It's just a cheese bread. You know, like, so it's not the thing I waited for. So I'm gonna wait until it's right. I think that that's a treat, right? So like having ice cream in the evening as a treat it's really not. You know, that's just, but that's so difficult. You know, I think it's just one of those things we have to constantly talk about and reframe your mind around. Like, it's just so, and with kids, it's even crazier. Like at school, like I mean, I'll talk to my nephews and they'll have had like 2 kids had a birthday at school and then there was leftover cake, so the teacher served it at chess club. You know, so they had 3 slices of cake in a day, and like, but it was they call it a treat. What was a nice treat? That's not a treat. That's now a meal. That's like a normal. That's part of your day-to-day routine. So I think treat. I think a true and real treat should be amazingly delicious. It should be exactly what you wanted, and it should have some sort of ritual or community around it. If you're taking a cookie from the break room and eating it at your desk, that's bullshit. That's just you feeding your face. So, and that's a harsh thing to say, and that feels, I'm not saying you have to do that, I'm saying to start thinking about it like that. Because that's a process to get to that point where you realize what's a real treat. You know? So I'm really big on rituals around food. So like every morning when I make my coffee, I don't even bother. If I can't make it, like I can't steam the milk, I can't press my espresso, and I can't froth it and then sit and have it. Because I put sugar in it, I put, cream in it, and I mean, so I think the ritual around that is really important, and I don't care about the sugar and the cream and all that, because that ritual is there for me, and that's very soothing. I'm not going to walk up to the gas station and get coffee, but that doesn't happen, because that takes away from the value of, so. I also realize that's a very far-fetched way of thinking about food for a lot of people, so. But I like to introduce the idea for people to start to ponder, because I think it's a worthwhile, and when you eat in that way, I think you stop just eating for the hell of it, and you eat because it means something.
Yeah, sometimes mine is more like out of boredom at work, when people keep offering me stuff. And like I put it aside at my desk, and like I'm not gonna eat it. But then it's like, you keep looking at it, and I look at it. And then I had one label, and I was like, I didn't need to eat this. And I threw away the rest. But then
It's good that you throw away the rest, but then you feel guilty about throwing things away because you've been like your whole life not to waste food. Yeah.
But I feel like I just need to have more fruits or something around my desk instead of
Sitting at a desk
it's horrible.
that is a hard. It's just so hard because it's so it's such a mismatch for you. You know what I mean? And so I don't know if that thing is like changing positions every 20 minutes, stand up, sit down, kneeling on a stool. I don't know if it's that. I mean, I think chewing gum is real